So yesterday I was doing my Montreal Canadiens research, going out there seeing what's new in the world of the Habs. And I stumbled across this article on TVA Sports that I thought was interesting enough to go out there and read to you here today. It goes over a topic that we really haven't explored with any individual player the past little while, and the player in question is one whom we've been talking about once in a blue moon. Let's talk today about the first overall pick from last year, Juraj Slafkovsky. Last time we made a video about this guy, we asked the question if y'all were worried about him and his overall development. Now, of course, that video came out on the same day that we had talked about Alexis Lafreniere, the first overall pick from 2020, and how he had his time running out, so I guess I was kind of in a doom and gloom type of mood back when those videos were made. But in today's video, we're going to take the more optimistic approach. We're going to talk today about Juraj Slafkovsky and what he's been doing this offseason that might have gone out there and changed the way his offseason is going to go. Let's talk today about the science of Juraj Slafkovsky. Based off of an article that I had seen from yesterday's TVA Sports, Nicholas Kluche went out there and wrote this. The link is going to be in the description. The title says this: Juraj Slafkovsky transformed from science. Now, it's translated from French into English. The actual translation here says Juraj Slafkovsky's transformed par la science, which is not entirely one language or the other, but it's interesting to note that this piece is going out there and suggesting how some newer scientific methods have been applied to Juraj and his training. Let's get into the article, get into the quotes, get into how this might affect Slafkovsky and the way he's able to grow over the summer. Again, link is in the description if you want to go ahead and read it yourself. It's in French, so I had to translate this to English before reading it here on the channel. But the magic of science could help Juraj Slafkovsky finally unleash the full power of his 6'3", 238-pound frame in his second NHL season. Over the summer, the Slovak has already increased his lung capacity by 20%, an extremely significant leap for a top athlete. Now, before we get into that, does anybody realize how big of a deal this actually is? Lung capacity is no joke, and I think a lot of y'all, if you've ever been on a run before, you've ever played hockey and you've been winded after a bit, you recognize just how important it is to have big, strong, healthy lungs to increase airflow, increase oxygen levels, and just allow the blood to pump a little bit faster. I don't know if I'm saying this 100% correctly because I'm no doctor, but I think it sounds right. So let's go out there and read more of what this article has to say. Using state-of-the-art technology, fitness trainer Michal Brentinar invested in the development of the young power forward during the offseason. His priority is to allow Slafkovsky to master a better economy of movement. This, according to Bretinar, will take the first overall pick of the 2022 draft to another level. Juraj has great strength, said the Czech luminary during an interview with TVA Sports. He approaches everything with maximum effort, which is difficult to sustain consistently. However, hockey is an activity that requires repeated efforts. It's all about your muscles' abilities to contract and relax. We want Slafkovsky to be able to do everything 20, 30 times on the ice, but not at the expense of quality. This is a pretty good analysis so far. Honestly, I'm liking it a lot. I like the ideas that Bretinar is going out there and saying. Better economy of movement for Slafkovsky. Okay, let's see what the article has to say from here. To achieve the famous economy of movement that Bretinar refers to, several systems in the human body must work in harmony so that energy is expended efficiently. For Slafkovsky, some of these systems have prevented him from working at full speed. One of them, the respiratory system. Most of the time, Bretinar is working remotely on Slafkovsky development by communicating with the Slovaks' head coach Daniil Kisura. However, during a stay of Slafkovsky in Prague, Bretinar took the opportunity to gather important data. He made Slafkovsky take a spirometry test, which consists of evaluating the functioning of the lungs. Then we conducted another examination on a stationary bike, and this revealed metabolic limitations, said Bretinar. We measured the performance of heart muscles and muscle oxygenation in the human body using a sensor named MOXIE. Attached is a picture of Juraj Slafkovsky on an exercise bike with a really interesting-looking mask on his face, probably to measure out these exact things, respiratory, heart, blood pumping stuff. And it's really interesting to me to note how this was the outcome, that they found that there are some respiratory limitations in the way Slafkovsky's body handles its overall systematic approach. The mask allows us to monitor breathing rate and volume with and without the puck, said Bedard. We can observe when an athlete holds his breath or breathes quickly and inefficiently. A variety of other irregularities may also be observed. And you know what they say, right? Proper diagnosis precedes proper treatment. The best thing you could do to improve your situation is to know what the problem is in the first place. And for Bedard to go out there and conduct a series of tests for Slafkovsky that actually highlight where his limitations lie, it's really good that they're able to identify these in the middle of the summer while we're waiting for everything to improve. These kinds of changes take time to embrace. However, if all goes as planned, it will help him perform more shifts at a higher intensity. He'll recover faster, and his first 3 strides will be more powerful. Within a few weeks, Slafkovsky made remarkable progress as they increased his lung capacity by 20%, which is a very significant figure, Bedard points out. There also was an analysis done on the Terminator. There was a picture of Slafkovsky going around with some really cool Terminator-esque shades, and this is what Bedard goes out there and says about that. Those strobe glasses flicker at different speeds and thus alter the field of vision and the blinking of your eyes, confides the coach. These glasses help Slafkovsky improve his ability to judge distances and respond quickly to dynamic changes, in addition to enhancing his spatial orientation. Essentially, these glasses don't just look cool, they actually help him with his training by allowing him to adapt more so to proper visual cues and navigate his environment more thoroughly. That is cool. When the hell have you ever seen a hockey player's training be done with gosh darn Terminator shades? In short, this article says nothing is left to chance, and in a league like the NHL where it's all about fractions of a second, the difference between a turnover and an accurate pass is very small. Increasing the reaction time of the brain is the sinews of war. The article ends off by saying this: genetics are always going to be playing a part, obviously, and Juraj has certain physical predispositions which work in his favor, but that's only part of the equation. Humility, open-mindedness, and the willingness to work on yourself are all necessary qualities, and I think Juraj has those qualities. And you see, this is why I wanted to read this article. Because it's such a weird thing. By the way, it's in the description if you want to go ahead and read it yourself. It's in French, so I translated it here. But Juraj Slafkovsky going out there and working on himself in the most scientific way possible, I did not have that on my bingo card. I didn't have him training with shades that flash and change the way he blinks so that he only sees part of what's in front of him or on the sides of him, which alter the way he's supposed to perceive his environment. For him to increase his lung capacity, dude, that sounds like something straight out of Demon Slayer. They're talking about breathing techniques? Like, oh man, I might have to just slip in a tangent on the thumbnail. I have no idea. But yeah, for Juraj Slafkovsky, if the goal here is to see him be able to do more and at a higher intensity for the majority of his shifts rather than going out there, giving it a little bit of effort and then kind of calming down for a bit, I'm all for that. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say necessarily that last season when watching Slafkovsky, we noticed that, oh, he's like lazy and slow, he doesn't do things. Like, I don't think that really was a conclusion people had about his year. It was just a lot of technical things. It was, oh, he has his head down too much. It was, oh, he doesn't have that same offensive bite that he had at the Olympics, which is understandable because he's not playing against guys at the Olympics. He's playing on smaller ice, so it's a lot more difficult. But the fact is, he was able to hang at the very least. He hung around, he stuck around, he was there, he got slowed down via injury. That's not really his fault, right? So seeing this idea where it's like, yeah, well, you saw Slafkovsky last year, next year he's going to have better breathing, he's going to have higher lung capacity, and he's going to be better, faster, stronger on each shift he goes out there, each stride, more powerful than the last. That sounds good. Like, I don't necessarily know how that's going to translate into production, but, you know, it's good to see that happening. And to see his vision also improve on the ice. Not like his eyesight per se, but how he perceives his surroundings. If that helps him navigate the offensive zone a little bit better next season, then hopefully we're going to have ourselves a very good second season, rather than a sophomore slump where he produces even fewer points than he had this previous year. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Juraj Slafkovsky going through these breathing technique exercises, how he's improved his vision, the science behind his training regimen for 2023's offseason. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you think this is going to affect him, and do you like this type of training plan? I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.